your professors who are always saying medicine is an art. How you treat a patient is an art. It's all in your fingertips. It's like by touch, by smell, by sight, by feel, everything. There's so much component to it. And now you're saying that AI could possibly do all this for us. So how is that? I guess, how do you navigate those change in perspective, change in mindset?
So when they say that medicine is an art, it's not wrong. First of all, Selena, because medicine, of course, an art, but then there's something called as digital art. And nowadays, there's a field which is coming up where the artists are using digital technologies to even build better masterpieces. Of course, there's a place for the traditional art, but then the digital art is also picking up, and good artists who are very much interested in keeping their artists alive, they are embracing digital technologies. I know a lot of them who are doing it. And when I mention senior doctors, I'm not saying that all senior doctors. Most of the senior doctors are very supportive, and they are really even themselves willing and eager to learn. In many of our workshops from our community, which is called Doctors AI, many of the doctors who are attending it are practicing clinicians, and many of them are senior doctors. But then there are very few. Like there's a specific cohort which is always pushing back, always telling no, that the old way of doing things is only good. Uh, I think in their own self they are right in their own minds, but then if you look at the larger picture, if you see the future of the next generations, what they're going to deal with, they will not only have to be artists, they will have to be digital artists. They will have to know how to use the data that is in the EMRs, which we are collecting in. As even as senior doctors, we are putting data into the EMRs. That data is going to be used by those next generations to come, and only if they have the tools and the means to do so will they be able. So it's our responsibility right now to just, of course, not let the art of medicine diminish, but then let it to evolve in a new way. There's something called as like transformation. So what is transformation? It's not, you don't remove the old things, but you just evolve them into a new way of doing things. You keep the diagnosis, you keep the physical examination, you keep the patient history taking intact. But then how you do it, that changes with time. I think that debate came up when there were stethoscopes as well. Why do you need to listen to the chest? When you can just talk to the patient, and if the patient is coughing, then it means there's some problem. But then some people started using stethoscope, and then they realized that there's so many applications of it, and now we have even digital stethoscopes, which are even AI enabled, where which can give you even a ECG reading while you are listening to the heart. So this is the way how we develop things. We don't remove the art of physical examination, but we transform it and evolve it so that it becomes contemporary.
Okay, so what about the risk of over reliance on AI and it might overtake your own clinical judgment? What about those?
Definitely, that is a challenge, Selena, with any technology. For example, before surgeons were using open surgeries, and then they used to put big incisions and feel all the organs, and then with their hands, and then decide. They had a tactile sensation, tactile feedback. But now we are moving towards laparoscopic surgeries, robotic surgeries, where you don't get the actual feeling of the organ. You are controlling a robot which is putting the arms inside the patient, but then you don't get to feel it. That sort of skill erosion, I would say that risk is always there, and that is where I think we should look at other industries how they are doing it. For example, the aviation industry. A pilot is making the takeoff, and then putting it on autopilot. But then, if the autopilot doesn't function, we know that the pilot has the ability and has the training to do it without the autopilot. And that is why we sit so confidently inside any aeroplane that we travel in today. I think that's sort of a similar sort of a mindset where you use a combination of simulation, AI, non-AI scenarios, all those things. When you train a person on comprehensively on those two things together, and not either alone. If you train them entirely on AI and all those stuff and only robotics, that they will never know if when to open a patient. For example, sometimes a robotic surgery doesn't go as planned. So maybe the surgeon has to remove the robot and go with a traditional surgery. So that surgeon has that ability. And they always take a consent from the patient that we might have to open you up if the robotic surgery is, there's some problem in robotic surgery. So similar sort of a mindset needs to be developed across specialities. We should be knowing how to do the things with and without support. And when there is support available, we should definitely use it. The pilot never flies a plane when the autopilot can do the job. That, that is how it works. But then they train on simulator for many hours without autopilot also.